Have you ever pondered why a man would put his happiness aside for his woman, yet a woman would put the man aside for her happiness? It's a question that's been circling around for ages, a conundrum that's left many scratching their heads. It's a paradox that we're going to unravel today. We live in a world where societal norms and expectations mold our actions and decisions to a significant extent, and when it comes to relationships, these norms and expectations often complicate things further. They lead us to believe that a man should always prioritize his partner's happiness over his own. The noble knight, the selfless hero, the sacrificial lover, these are the roles that men are often expected to play. Meanwhile, on the other side of the spectrum, women are often taught to prioritize their own happiness, their own ambitions. It's a narrative that's been spun by countless books, movies, and songs. The idea that a woman should seek her own joy, even if it means setting the man aside, is almost seen as a form of empowerment. But what does this dichotomy mean for our relationships? How does it shape our interactions with our partners, our expectations of them, and our understanding of our own needs and desires? These are the questions we'll be grappling with in this discussion. We're not here to point fingers or place blame. Instead, we aim to explore this paradox from a balanced perspective, to delve into both men's and women's viewpoints, and to understand the role that societal expectations and communication play in shaping this dilemma. It's a journey that we hope will bring us closer to understanding the complexities of love, sacrifice, and happiness. So, prepare to be enlightened, to challenge your preconceived notions, and to gain a deeper understanding of the delicate dance that is human relationships. And who knows, you might just find the answers to questions you didn't even know you had. But before we dive deeper, remember to subscribe to Motivational Grand Rising and hit the bell icon to start your day with positivity. To understand this paradox, let's first delve into the man's perspective. Men are often seen as the pillars of strength in society, a role that comes with considerable responsibility and pressure. From a young age, they are taught to be the providers and protectors, to stand tall, to be tough, and to keep their emotions in check. This societal mold shapes their mindset and, in many ways, their actions. Consider the expectation to provide. Working long hours, taking on multiple jobs, or even pursuing a career path that may not align with their passion is often a man's reality. Why? Because they feel an overwhelming duty to ensure the financial stability and security of their loved ones. In a study by the American Psychological Association, over 70% of men reported work as a significant source of stress, with financial worries topping the list. But providing is just one aspect of the pressures men face. Protection is another key element. Men are expected to be the shield, to safeguard their loved ones against any harm. This often translates into them putting their well-being aside to ensure the safety and happiness of their loved ones. There's also the societal expectation that men should be stoic, that they should mask their emotions. Happiness, sadness, fear, or anxiety, they're all part of the human experience. Yet, men are often discouraged from expressing these feelings. This can lead to them prioritizing the happiness of their loved ones over their own, as expressing their needs or desires might be seen as a sign of weakness. These societal expectations and pressures can be further amplified by the images and messages men are exposed to in the media. Action heroes who never falter, successful businessmen who sacrifice everything for their goals, stoic fathers who never show a hint of vulnerability. These are the role models often presented to men. But let's not forget, men, like anyone else, have their dreams, their desires, and their need for happiness. However, they often suppress these needs, not out of choice, but out of a sense of duty and responsibility. Dr. Michael Addis, a renowned psychologist and author, explains this phenomenon in his book Invisible Men. He suggests that men often prioritize the needs of their loved ones over their own, not because they don't value their happiness, but because they've been conditioned to believe that their role is to provide and protect, even at the expense of their own well-being. This is not to say that all men are victims of societal expectations or that they don't have the power to change. But understanding the pressures they face can give us a better grasp of why men might put their happiness aside for their loved ones. So, men's actions are often driven by a sense of duty and responsibility, but what about women? Now, let's turn the tables and look at this from the woman's viewpoint. To truly grasp why a woman might prioritize her happiness over her relationship, we need to delve into the societal pressures she faces, her quest for independence, and the need for self-fulfillment. Let's start by acknowledging that society often puts a heavy burden on women. From a young age, girls are taught to be self-reliant, independent, and to prioritize their happiness. This is not inherently a bad thing. In fact, it's a sign of progress. However, it can lead to complications in relationships, especially when a woman feels she has to choose between her happiness and her partner. In a study published in the Journal of Happiness Studies, researchers found that women report higher levels of happiness when they are single, compared to when they are in a relationship. This paradoxical finding is attributed to the fact that women often shoulder the emotional labor in relationships which can detract from their overall happiness, and then there's the notion of independence. For centuries, women have been fighting for their rights, their voices to be heard, and their independence. Today, many women view their independence as a symbol of their strength, a testament to their resilience. This independence often translates into a desire for self-fulfillment, a pursuit of happiness that is uniquely their own. Psychologist Dr. Laura Berman suggests that women are more likely to put their partners aside because they've learned to value their own needs. They've learned that they can't pour from an empty cup, and so they prioritize filling their own cup first. This doesn't mean they don't care about their partner, but rather that they understand the importance of caring for themselves. Moreover, women today are more empowered than ever before to pursue their dreams, their careers, and their passions. They are encouraged to achieve their full potential, to reach for the stars, and to not let anything or anyone hold them back. This empowerment can sometimes lead to a woman choosing her happiness over her relationship. However, this does not mean that women do not value or desire relationships. In fact, many women deeply desire connection, intimacy, and partnership. But they also want to feel fulfilled, content, and happy in their own right, without depending on a relationship for their happiness. It's important to note that every woman is different. Not all women will prioritize their happiness over their relationship, and not all women will put their man aside. But it's also important to understand that the societal pressures, the desire for independence, and the pursuit of self-fulfillment can influence a woman's choices and actions. So, women's actions are often driven by a need for self-fulfillment and independence. But is this the whole picture? Tune in for the next segment as we explore the role of communication in this complex equation. Could the answer to this paradox lie in something as simple as communication? Let's dive into this thought. Communication, in essence, is the grease that keeps the wheels of any relationship turning smoothly. It's the golden thread that links two people, enabling them to express their thoughts, feelings, and desires. When this thread is strong, it fosters understanding and harmony. But when it weakens or snaps, misunderstandings creep in, leading to conflicts. Think about it. How many times has an argument stemmed from a simple misunderstanding? One partner thought one thing, the other assumed something else, and before you know it, there's a full-blown dispute. These situations often arise from a lack of clear communication. Let's take a peek into the life of John and Jane, a fictional couple. John, a man of few words, often suppresses his feelings to avoid conflict, while Jane, on the other hand, feels ignored and unimportant because John rarely shares his thoughts. This situation could easily be diffused with open and honest communication. If John expressed his feelings and Jane listened actively, they would understand each other better, and their relationship would flourish. Now, this isn't just a hypothetical scenario. Studies and expert opinions back this up. Dr. John Gottman, a renowned relationship expert, states that couples who communicate effectively are more likely to have a healthy and long-lasting relationship. They understand each other's needs and wants better, leading to a mutually satisfying relationship. However, it's not just about talking more. It's about talking right. It's about expressing your feelings honestly without hurting your partner. It's about listening to understand, not just to respond. It's about giving your partner the space to express themselves without judgment. In the end, it all boils down to one thing: open and honest communication. It's the bridge that connects two people, helping them understand each other and resolve conflicts. It's the key that could unlock the solution to our paradox. So, open and honest communication could be the key to resolving this paradox. But what else could be at play? How much of our actions are actually driven by societal expectations? It's a thought-provoking question, isn't it? As we dive into this topic, let's take a moment to consider how societal expectations shape our decisions, particularly in the realm of relationships. We live in a world where societal norms and expectations are deeply ingrained. They're like invisible puppet strings, guiding our actions and decisions, often without us even realizing it. From the moment we're born, we're taught how to behave, what to aspire for, and what to value. And these teachings are not always explicit. They're subtly woven into the stories we hear, the media we consume, and the conversations we partake in. Relationships especially bear the brunt of these societal expectations. Men are often expected to be the providers, the protectors, the problem solvers. They're conditioned to believe that their happiness lies in the happiness of their partners. Women, on the other hand, are often expected to prioritize their own happiness, to seek fulfillment and self-actualization. These expectations, although not universal, are prevalent enough to influence our actions and decisions. Renowned sociologist Dr. Jane Addams puts it aptly, "Societal expectations are like a heavy cloak we carry around. They shape our identities, our relationships, our choices, but they can also weigh us down, limit our potential, and trap us in roles that may not truly resonate with us." Research backs this up. A study published in the Journal of Social Psychology found that societal expectations significantly influence relationship dynamics. The researchers concluded that individuals often mold their actions, consciously or subconsciously, to align with societal norms, even if it means putting their own happiness aside. So, what happens when societal expectations conflict with personal happiness? It leads to a paradox. Men might put their happiness aside for their partners, not necessarily out of selflessness, but because that's what they've been conditioned to believe is the right thing to do. Women might prioritize their own happiness not out of selfishness, but because they've been taught to value self-fulfillment. But here's the thing. Societal expectations are not set in stone, they evolve over time, shaped by changing cultural narratives and collective consciousness. As we become more aware of these invisible puppet strings, we can start questioning and challenging them. We can begin to redefine our own expectations based on what truly resonates with us, rather than what society dictates. So, societal expectations play a significant role in this paradox. But how can we break free from these expectations? How can we navigate this paradox and build healthier, happier relationships? Well, my friends, it's not about finding a one-size-fits-all solution, but about understanding, empathy, and communication. Let's dive into this together, shall we? Firstly, let's talk about communication. It's not just about talking, but about truly listening too. It's about expressing your needs and desires, but also about understanding your partners. It's about creating a safe space where both of you can express your feelings, fears, and expectations without judgment. Remember, communication is not about who's right and who's wrong, it's about understanding each other better. It's about finding that common ground that allows both parties to thrive and be happy. Now let's turn to societal expectations. They can be a heavy burden, can't they? They can put unnecessary pressure on us, distort our perceptions, and even lead us to sacrifice our own happiness. But here's the thing, societal expectations are not set in stone. They change over time, and we can challenge them. We should never forget that we are individuals, each with our own desires, dreams, and needs. We should not let societal expectations define our relationships or dictate our happiness. Instead, we should strive to create our own norms that respect and honor our individuality and our mutual happiness. And speaking of happiness, let's remember that it's not a zero-sum game. One person's happiness should not come at the expense of the others. In a healthy relationship, happiness is shared and multiplied, not divided. We need to prioritize not only our own happiness but also our partners. We need to find that balance where both parties feel fulfilled and content. And it's important to remember that this balance might look different for each couple. And that's okay. The key is to find what works for you and your partner. Now, none of this is to say that it will be easy. It takes effort, patience, and understanding. It takes a willingness to learn and grow, to make mistakes and learn from them. But isn't that what life is all about? Isn't that what love is all about? In the end, it's about navigating this journey together, hand in hand, supporting each other, and striving for a shared happiness. It's about building a relationship that is not defined by societal expectations or by self-sacrifice, but by mutual respect, understanding, and joy. By understanding and addressing this paradox, we can pave the way for more fulfilling relationships. And isn't that a path worth walking down? I certainly believe so. So why would a man put his happiness aside for his woman, but a woman would put the man aside for her happiness? As we've journeyed through this topic, we've unraveled some intriguing perspectives. From understanding both a man's and a woman's viewpoint, we've seen that the answer isn't as black and white as it might initially seem. It's a complex tapestry woven from threads of societal expectations, communication styles, and personal choices. We've learned that men, often conditioned by society, might prioritize their woman's happiness, sometimes at the expense of their own. Women, on the other hand, might be driven by the need to find their own happiness, even if it means putting the man aside. But let's not forget the crucial role of communication. Open, honest, and empathetic communication can help bridge this gap, leading to mutual happiness and a balanced relationship. After all, happiness isn't a zero-sum game. One doesn't have to lose for the other to win. Societal expectations have a significant impact on our behavior, but the key here is to question, understand, and if necessary, challenge these norms. Are they serving us well? Or are they creating unnecessary hurdles in our pursuit of happiness? And finally, the path forward. It's not about pointing fingers or playing the blame game. It's about understanding, empathy, and a willingness to change for the better. It's about creating a world where both men and women can be happy without having to sacrifice their happiness for the other. Remember, understanding is the first step towards change. So, let's start understanding and changing for the better. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to Motivational Grand Rising for more such insights. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to start your day with positivity.